Welcome to AJA's official podcast. I'm Chris Daniels, Executive Director of the American Jail Association. Today we're going to focus on training opportunities that are available through the association. I'm joined today by Shaun Klucznik, AJA's president, and Dr. Mark Foxall, a longtime board of directors member, and also Dr. Foxall oversees our Jail Executive Institute, which is a cooperative effort with the University of Nebraska-Omaha. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
So, Shaun, I know that you have a vision for really getting word out about what AJA offers and putting us out there in the space that we've held for a long time as the leading training source for jails in America.
Yeah, no doubt. Part of the reason I got involved in the American Jail Association is in 2007. I attended a course. Now I get, headquarters staff. I've gotten to know over the last few years, especially. I met Connie in 2007, and I went to a class called Medical and Security Working Together, and it was profound because some jails, believe it or not, the medical staff and the security staff don't always get along. So that class was awesome for me, especially as a young deputy, and I had the opportunity to bring that back to my facility, and I've had the opportunity to involve that in all of my leadership positions. So as a corporal, as a sergeant, as a lieutenant, and all the way now to being a jail administrator, I've always made sure that my staff would never slow medical down at all, and I'd make sure that we're always there for each other when it comes to keeping them safe. And that AJA training just set the tone for me to want to get involved at AJA. So all the way up to now, at this point, I've now, at my agency, I've hosted 3 different, we'll call them pop-up trainings. I saw a need, and I reached out to AJA and said, hey, we could use a classification course. We could use a leadership course. And AJA has always been able to say, all right, cool, let's get it done. Let's get it done. So I had the space. I was able to advertise it. The very first one we hosted, I think we planned on 25, 26 seats, and we ended up with over 50 people from all across the country. So the model works, and I think it's something we're going to double down on this year. I also had the opportunity with AJA, and I got to attend Class 10 of the NJLCA, the National Jail Command Leadership Academy. I will say it's by far the best correctional leadership training I've ever been to. I say it's the best I've ever been to because I haven't gone to Mark's. But I think I made a promise earlier today to potentially consider it, so I'm not going to lock myself in there. But NJLCA by far was one of the greatest trainings I've been to. The content is amazing, and it's one of those classes where you go to classes sometimes and you're done 6 hours into the day, and then you're going home and you're locked in. You get there Sunday evening, you're locked in doing something. You're always learning, networking, and developing. So I recognize that as another reason to get heavily involved at AJA. This year we're going to double down on that. Our focus as an association has got to be the members. The members have to know that we are there to support them. The board of directors is there to support them, the AJA staff. And we need to recognize that if you need something, come to us, right? We'll be able to you want to pop-up train, you identify a need locally for you, odds are very good that some of your partner agencies or neighboring agencies are going to have that same need. And AJA can either bring out an older version, refresh it, or we can create something new.
Can you talk about how that process works? How do you get involved with AJA offering a training? What's the expectation for the agency? What resources does AJA provide in those scenarios?
Sure. So AJA does a good job of making it as easy as possible, the KISS method for us. And the headquarters staff is always easy to work with, emails fast, phone calls if necessary, all the way up to right at the end, the text messages letting you know, quick updates, the responsiveness, the communication is always good. So all we have to really do is provide a space to hold the training. If you have an instructor you want to use, AJA is okay with it. We definitely want to vet the instructors as best we can, make sure we're providing world-class instruction. And I've had the 3 times we've hosted it, it's been perfect, honestly. The list comes out, people from all over the country come, and I mean, this is an opportunity for if you decide to host once, your opportunity for your host agency to showcase your locality, right? So we did our best to make sure we provide restaurants and the best hotels in the area to make sure that we're putting them up to make sure they're comfortable. But but the staff has always been lights out. It's too easy. If it sounds like a daunting task to pop up a class, it's not. It's something I'd be happy to talk to anybody personally to talk about how to reason through it. But it's something that we look forward to doing again. I know the last one we hosted was a classification course, and it was well received, and it was unique. Actually, we added Ashley Miller's one of our board of director members, and she's an attorney, and she came in and added a legal section of it the very first day, and it was really popular. So much so popular that we've had people come back to our facility to talk about how we implement some of the things we talked about, so they can bring it home even further. So on top of the actual instruction, the networking that happens afterwards is awesome.
Mm-hmm. And Dr. Foxall, I love that he started with how he got involved with AJA. Could you share with everyone how you got involved with AJA, kind of your first experience?
Oh my gosh, yes. It goes back a number of years and is very much like the experience that Shaun talked about. I went to a conference many years ago and really sat through as many workshops as I could. Our director at the time, Jeff Newton, took me to a conference, and we went to that conference, and I was so impressed with the members of the association. The staff really impressed me, and one of my first contacts with the staff was Connie, and Connie was just, and she has been ever since, just a joyful person to be around, and in fact talked me into teaching classes, teaching workshops, and so I really began as student sitting in the workshops at conference, and then began to teach some of those conferences. And after that, I got involved with the jail manager certification commission. I was on that commission, and then I went to the board, and I've been on the board for a long time. And I really believe in the mission of the American Jail Association, and because I've been around a long time, I've seen people come and go as they've retired or moved on or moved off the board. But one of the things that's interesting, just today, I've met a lot of former board members, former presidents that were associated with the association years ago. They come back and they're still connected and they still believe in the mission, and that keeps me going as well. And the staff, even though there's been some staff turnover over the many years I've been involved with the association, they still have kept true to the mission, and that's training correctional professionals in the industry. And that's what keeps me engaged, keeps me coming back, and when they ask for something, I say, absolutely, how can I help? How can I make our industry better than it was when I started, better than it was just a year ago?
And Dr. Foxall, I know you were a driving force behind the launching of the Jail Executive Institute, right? Can you kind of talk about the impetus for that and how it fits into our total portfolio of training?
Yes, the American Jail Association approached me a few years back, and we had some different conversations about how we were preparing executive level individuals for or individuals who were at the executive level at their agencies or aspired to executive level positions, and what we were doing, how we were focusing training on that. And I had just transitioned as director of Douglas County Department of Corrections in Omaha, Nebraska. I was getting ready to retire and transition into academia, and I made a recommendation at a board meeting that perhaps in my new role as a professor at the University of Nebraska in Omaha, I could start up a jail executive course and utilize the resources at the university to provide curriculum that attendees would really embrace and help them in their current positions and help individuals who aspired to executive level positions to be competitive. So we put that curriculum together. We did 40 hours of in-person instruction in Omaha, Nebraska, and I developed what I call little vignettes, if you will. So 40 hours of in-person curriculum at in Omaha, and then every month for the next 6 or 7 months, we would do a 75 or a 90-minute Zoom lecture or presentation on a different topic, and those topics are vetted by the attendees at the in-person sessions. So we wanted to stay relevant. We didn't want to have a canned curriculum and we just continue it year after year. Rather, I want to try to adapt the curriculum to what is hot and moving in the industry. So we talk about what those Zoom topics would be, and then identify the presenters or identify the experts, the subject matter experts, and we bring them in through the Zoom, and then we get good feedback, good evaluation from the attendees. The other thing that I challenged the attendees, and we put this together at the beginning of the we were kind of building out that initial curriculum, is I wanted them to, I was trying to figure out how to engage the group in critical thinking. And sitting in Omaha in those 40-hour sessions, obviously it's more graduate level discussions, it's seminar based, it's not lecture format. And I've tried to figure out how do we want to, we're going to get this critical thinking at that venue, but I also wanted to make sure that we continue that effort outside of the 40 hours. So I challenged them with the responsibility of identifying a persistent problem in their organization and trying to think about a solution to that problem. And I said, here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to do the background on whatever that problem is, and then propose a solution, write a paper consistent with whatever that problem identification and subsequent solution might be, and then present that paper orally at conference in May.
Year 4 graduates, yeah. Do you have a total number of graduates to date?
I do. I'm not sure, but I probably would say 20, 30, 40. We're probably just a little bit, about 50 perhaps. Mm-hmm. And we like again, we're trying to set up in a seminar style format, so 16 to 20 is about the sweet spot for attendees. You get bigger than that, you get into large group dynamics, and some people don't talk, they don't engage, so want to keep it in a graduate type of format or small group dynamics. You get more engagement, better engagement. It really facilitates that critical thinking that I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. I think this last class we were at 20, JEI 4, that's been our largest class. And I think that's about the cap on it. So about 50, I think, is what we've put out so far.
Yeah, having attended the first JEI, I can attest to the fact that it is truly an executive level experience. And, there's the value of the educational presentations, but there's also the networking and the bonding with the group that occurs. You definitely set the atmosphere for that. And, those are relationships that last a lifetime.
Oh my gosh, yes. And in fact, we had members of the previous JEI groups come through, JEI 1, 2, and 3. Some of them have also expressed an interest in coming in to listen to the presentations Sunday. And in talking to some of them, they've got their own email group, and they remain in contact. And that's what I encourage the participants to do. In every JEI class that we've had, and the one that just graduated today, said, you folks stay in contact with each other. You can't commiserate down the chain of command. No, absolutely. Yeah. You can't. And consequently, it gets lonely in that seat. So, but you can commiserate to your other peers who are in the industry. So reach out to them. You bonded in Omaha. You've sat in on these different presentations we've done every month. You sat in on the oral presentations that the attendees provided yesterday, and said, you've got this bond, so stay in contact with each other. So if you're sitting in your office and you think you've got an insurmountable problem, one of your peers that probably already dealt with it, and they can maybe talk you through it or share some ideas. So that networking, Chris, as you indicated, is really important. And they've maintained that network subsequent to their respective graduations for JEI 1, 2, and 3. And I have no doubt that JEI 4 will stay together as well.
Yeah, I hear that pretty consistently. The training is obviously valued. It's the best training that's available. And I also hear it about some of our other trainings. You mentioned the NJLCA. I know you're graduates, and I assume you've stayed in touch with a lot of the folks who were in your graduating class.
Absolutely. There was about 40 in my class, and I think there's 3 or 4 that I still text regularly. So, and one thing that Mark just hit on, even NJLCA, I went to that class, and the story I was telling before the camera started, we took our jail over in 2010, and I was thrown into a position of leadership that I was ready for, but I felt like I was overwhelmed at first. In the first 18 months, I will admit, I felt like I was guessing some days, right? But going to NJLCA after 18 months or so, and I got there and I felt that, oh, wait, all right, so I'm not the only one having these problems, and I felt more confident about my role as a lieutenant at the time. Being able to go home and say, I just looked at a group of people that are experts in their field. I feel like I'm their peer now. I feel more confident, and I have that opportunity at that point to pick up the phone and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. What do you think? And luckily for us, I think we had, I want to say 20 or maybe 25 states represented in my class. So you got all those different perspectives. Obviously, the courts get involved, and sometimes there's legal settings before you can make a decision on what you're dealing with. But that ability to have somebody that can rationalize or work through a problem with you is amazing. The relationships, the trainings are always great, right? But the relationships you form at the trainings are amazing.
And I understand that with the National Jail Command Leadership Academy, there's an application process. I understand sometimes there's a wait list, but eventually everyone gets to attend.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, you fill it out online and get basically put on a list, right? I didn't have to wait long. Luckily for me, I was class 10. I think I said that earlier. I think I don't know what session we're in now, but I think we're pushing 50 at least, just past 50. I think that was last year. And that says something. We're putting out 3 or 4 of those a year. That says that the training is needed. But I'll tell you this, the best part about going there is you go there. And the classes are in the building, at the same place you're staying, the built-in hotel. Great setup. Sam Houston State University is beautiful anyway. And the fact that you're there and you're locked in together, basically, there's plans to do stuff afterwards, and it's not optional. There's absolutely no options there. You think you're going to go to training to take a break? No, this is legit training. You're coming back refreshed because you're empowered, right? And you have all the new knowledge. But you're busy while you're there, and it's definitely so for any supervisors or jail commanders listening to this. If you want to send your staff, they're going to be busy, and they'll be happy to come back and report back what they learned because they're going to be excited about it. So.
And Dr. Foxall, likewise, could you talk about the application process for JEI? I know there's another class being formed for this upcoming September.
Yes, there is. And you have an application process. You can get the application online through the American Jail Association website. Those applications are reviewed. And one of the things we're looking for is what your current rank and job responsibilities are at the institution from which you're applying, and we review those applications and where you fit in that rank structure, and we have you write a personal statement that indicates why you're interested in that attending JEI. Take a look at those applications, and we try to admit again that number, about 15 or 16 individuals into the program, and then we start in September. And the application process, we turn those applications around pretty quick. Headquarters gets those out to me pretty quick, and we can turn those applications around in about 72 hours, 48 to 72 hours. Because I know that the individuals don't want to have to wait, particularly if there's some budget considerations or they're trying to slot training dollars, they want to try to get a commitment. So we try to turn those applications around pretty quick.
Right. And gentlemen, I think we'd be seriously amiss if we didn't talk about the flagship of AJA training, which is the AJA conference. I do often hear stories about first-time experiences with the conference being what really got people involved with AJA. I hear it from our board members, people who've been with the association for many years. Their first point of engagement is the conference. And so, Shaun, can you talk a little bit about what makes our conference different from maybe some of the other conferences that are available out there for jail professionals?
So uniquely for me, my first official AJA conference that I attended was the virtual one during COVID.
Oh, yes.
Right? So that was a unique experience in general, but it was so well put on that I said, man, I got to really get involved heavily in this association. Coming to the conference the last few years has been awesome. I've been able to attend some of the courses. Some being on the board, we're a little busy sometimes with different commitments, but I can tell you the rooms are filled, and the quality of instructors' instruction is solid. I know I wish we had more time as board members to attend the training, but I can tell you, we were talked about it a little bit yesterday. We want high-quality instructors, high-quality instruction. Obviously, tax dollars are being spent to send people to these trainings most of the time, right? So we want to make sure they're good stewards of the tax dollars, and we're providing the benefit to that local jurisdiction when they go back home and can bring back some of the stuff they've learned. I want to make sure that anybody who comes to any of our trainings has an opportunity for good positive feedback. Meaning positive for us, no matter what it is you're providing back. If something we need to work on, improve on, we will improve on that.
Dr. Foxall, for someone like yourself, you at an executive level, and you've attended many, many conferences, right?
Yes.
What keeps you coming back every year?
You know, what keeps me coming back every year is number one, the information disseminated at the conference, so the workshops, certainly the expo. I come back and even though I'm retired, I still go through the expo and you see some different things and some technologies or something new. And because I've still got this relationship with JEI, I'm still communicating what I saw. Maybe the people that are in JEI, some of those maybe they did not have an opportunity to attend conference and go to the expo. So I still go to the expo because there's still some very intriguing things there. I think the training keeps me relevant. Okay, even though I've been retired for a few years now, it's important if I want to stay relevant, so I come back for the training every year, and that keeps me up, and it also gives me some ideas as to what some of the hot topics are, so I can keep the JEI curriculum alive and make sure that it's something that the attendees are going to get a lot out of and be able to use it right away when they get back to their respective jurisdictions. And I can't discount the networking opportunities. It's like a family. You come back every year and you see people that you haven't seen since the previous conference. And I said, I've been coming to conference for a long time, and I've seen people that have been retired for a long time, presidents, past LJN, Large L Network board members that established relationships with a long time ago. So you bring that family atmosphere back, and you know what? We're all still engaged, and you can't really walk away from corrections and just be done. It's tough. It's kind of in your blood. So you come back and you renew those old acquaintances. And then I saw somebody today, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? So I'm consulting and I'm doing this. And I said, good, I'm going to tap into you for a presenter, a subject matter expert for JEI. So it helped keep those relationships, those networks, opportunities alive. And so I really look forward to the jail conference, and it's I'm trying to remember when Shaun, you were talking about the first conference you went to. I'm trying to remember the first conference I went to, and was it Cincinnati? I can't remember. It's been so long ago, but it was. I remember it came with Jeff Newton, and it's one of those. He was the old director of Douglas County before I ascended into that role. But it was an experience that I didn't forget. I met a lot of people, dear friends that I met at that first conference. I'm still in contact with, and if I need an idea on a curriculum topic, or they need some help, because I'm in a consulting role now, and I always say yes. Probably too many times, but that's okay.
That's some of the benefit of, I agree, the networking, and I think the fact that, especially the way you described it, keeping it fresh, and coming to conference does the same thing. It always makes you feel refreshed when you're engaged with people, especially if you can help somebody solve something, you know?
Right.
That's great. Why reinvent the wheel? We have experts running around. You don't have to be a jail administrator to be an expert. The COs working the floors every day are experts. They're the experts in the field, and I love the fact that some of the line level staff get to come to these conferences, because I think AJ's got that. We have that nice little sweet spot. We have the pop-up trainings that could be any level, and then NJLCA is perfect, I think, for middle management, or maybe even low-level command staffs typically, and then the JEI is perfect for the executives or aspiring executives, and especially maybe some of those executives have been comfortable in their spots for a little bit, right? Maybe they need a little bit of refresh.
Right.
Jump in. Let's go back to school.
Right.
And I may have maybe it's time for me.
You know, it's something that my mom was a professor as well, and something she told me when I was very young. Education is a lifelong process. And whether that's education in an academic institution or it's education through professional development, it's a lifelong process. And I tell you what, folks, I've been in this business for a long time, 40 plus years, and it seems like the last 5 or so years are turning and burning a lot faster than the previous years, and you got to keep up.
Right.
You got to adapt. Culture is changing. The technology is
The
changing. The
scenarios
laws are
facing.
changing.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, jails you're always facing some new challenges. Some of the old ones never go away, right?
Right.
But the ongoing training keeps you up to speed on what you be facing in the jail.
Absolutely. And what's one thing we're going to be facing is I think it's going to be a huge tool. Is how do we implement AI into jails, right? So running through the exhibitor hall and seeing some of that technology that's being developed, and it's the fact that just being associated with AJA and having all those contacts, even the vendor contacts,
Right.
Their technology, they're developing the technology to make your job easier.
Sounds like a great topic for a conference next year in Milwaukee. And
Could
so
be.
we'll close out with that. President Klucznik, pleasure to have you here today. Dr. Foxall, likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep,
you.
look forward to seeing you again soon.
Awesome. Thank you.